Hello everyone. Well, we're here today at St Mary's Church in Barnsley. This is the actual church behind me if you look. But where we've got to go is a few hundred yards down the road, because that's where the spillover graveyard is. So we're going to head that way in a minute. I'll see you down there. And we're in the deepest depths of Barnsley today. Got quite a nice scenery over there if you look behind me. This is the overspill cemetery from St Mary's Church. And we've come to see somebody who has two particular accolades. The first one was he was the first black footballer, professional one, that played for Doncaster Rovers. The second one was he was the first black comedian to get into mainstream TV. So, do you know who that is? Charlie Williams, of course. Charlie Williams, yeah. Me old flower. That was his catchphrase, wasn't it? He was a comedian of the time. I mean, nowadays, it just won't wash, would it? His whole gimmick was the fact that he was black, from Jamaican descent. But of course, he had that Yorkshire accent and he used to speak. And the thing with him was, I always found it a little bit cheesy, I've got to be honest. I mean, he used to tell a joke and he'd go, ha 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 ha, you know, he sort of killed himself laughing at the end of it. But I always found that a little bit cheesy, but, you know, he was successful. He had a good career. He was on the Comedians and he did the Wheel Tappers and Shunters with Bernard Manning, so you can't knock the guy. And he was a professional in his sense. But his gimmick was, of course, which you wouldn't need nowadays, because thank God things have changed and we don't have all that racialism that we've got nowadays. He was a black man with a Yorkshire accent and he played on it. So that was a big joke, basically, you know. So, you know, as I say, he was successful. He was a little bit, in my mind, a little bit cheesy with it, but there we go. And he did quite a lot in his career. He appeared in London at the Palladium. Charlie was born in Royston in a small village in Barnsley, West Riding of Yorkshire. His father, also called Charlie, had come to Britain in 1914 from Barbados and enlisted in the Royal Engineers. Charlie left school aged 14. According to his autobiography, I've had some laughs. Charlie worked at the Upton Colliery during the Second World War as a reserve occupation. He played football for the colliery team before turning professional and signing for Doncaster Rovers in 1948, also being considered by York City and Nottingham Forest. At the age of 19, a centre-half, he played for the first team in 1950, but then remained in the reserve team till 1955, when he became an established first-team player for 4 years. He played 171 times for Rovers in total, but scored only one goal in a second division game away to Barnsley on the 24th of March 1956. In his own words, I was never a fancy player, but I couldn't half stop the buggers that were. He ended his career in Skegness Town in the Midland League. Following his retirement from football in 1959, Charlie tried his hand at singing in a local working men's club, but it was his comic chat between the songs that was best received, so he decided to move into comedy full time. He eventually became Britain's first well-known black television comedian. He came to prominence in 1971 when he began appearing regularly on the Comedians. The novel combination of a black man with a Yorkshire accent and his first-hand experience of life in Britain's working class made him unmistakable. Charlie's comedy was often at his own expense, and particularly his colour. Charlie was a role model for a new generation of black comedians such as Lenny and Gary Wilmot, growing up in the 1970s when almost all others were white. He reached the pinnacle with his comedy career in the early 1970s. In 1972 he spent 6 months season at the London Palladium, presenting his own show It's Charlie Williams, and he also appeared at the Royal Variety Performance. By the late 1970s and early 1980s his brand of humour became old-fashioned and his career declined. He retired after a final tour in 1995.
I don't like about, you know. Hey, I'm right pleased you come tonight, I am, because you're grand. They do the bloke walking down the road, and he's walking down, and it looked, and there was another fella there with a dirty big stick, and he's chucking it right across this water, and this dog's running and tiptoeing across water. He said, by gum, old love, that's a clever dog. He said, that must be joking. He said, why's that? He said, it can't swim.
And if he had hecklers in the crowd, he had a unique way of dealing with them. He used to shout back at them, "Hey, me old lad, you better be careful, else I'll come and live next door to you." The only real time that Charlie Williams had a problem really was he did the golden shot in the late 73 and into 74, and he wasn't really sharp enough. I can remember it being a little bit embarrassing watching him because he was a comedian, but he wasn't really fast on the wit. So Bob Monkhouse did a lot better job, you know, so unfortunately that was pretty detrimental to his career. We're here. It's strange, there's a very strange looking chap here as well, I don't know who it is. Who are you?
Hello, young flower.
Are you a Charlie Williams fan?
Yes.
I thought you must be, my old mate.
Yes.
Here we are, look, there he is, our Charlie. Yeah, me old flower, it's actually written on his grave as well, look. His catchphrase is down there. It's brilliant really, that's... Here we go, there we got a little picture which is lovely. There we go, Charlie, me old flower. Right, it says, treasured memories, heaven is a happier place for having you there. Sorry about that. Sleep peacefully, Chaz. Oh, that must have been his nickname. Charlie Williams, MBE. Born the 23rd of December 1927. Died on the 2nd of September 2006. And of course his little sayings down at the bottom, look, me old flower. That was his whole thing, wasn't it? A black man from Yorkshire. So he had his niche and he had his time. So what do you think? Ah, Charlie, proper Yorkshireman, eh?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Same colour.
Same colour. Yeah, we're a lovely chap. Bernard Manning had him on his show a few times, so he's one of the comedians. So it is actually a bit of if you have a little look where we are. So Mary's Church is about half a mile down there, and this is the overspill area, but it's a little bit unkempt, to say the least. It's but the grave itself is nice, isn't it? And it's got the Yorkshire rose on, look, in white. So there we go. That's our Charlie. So we've got not a lot more to say, folks. That's it for today, and thank you for watching Motorhome Beep Beep. Take care. I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye from me old flower here, Richard.
Bye bye.
And me, Alan. Thanks everyone.